TV Color Palette Challenge live stream day 4, character number 54. As you can see here, I have already finished the sketch off stream. Obviously, well, I won't say obviously, I'm sure you can imagine that this took more than 15 minutes to put together. So I didn't want to use that time during stream. And I just wanted the free space to conceptualize this idea before I jumped into the stream. Because I know that I want to do a very heavy line art graphic style with this, and that usually takes me a little bit longer. So instead of having 15 minutes to do the sketch, 15 minutes to do the line art today, I'm going to take 30 minutes to do the line art and then still have the rest of the time to finish out the coloring, which, because it's a blocky graphic style, might take me less time than usual. Hoping, because I'm kind of hoping to finish stream a little early today. Still not feeling super great. My back is still bothering me, so I'm trying not to be too stationary for too long. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into the drawing. And as you can see, I do have chat pulled up on the side, just in case anyone wants to pop in and say, hey, that's there for you. I will be leaving it up this time because I took it off back and forth, and ended up missing a couple messages last time, so I'll just leave it up just in case. But let me go ahead and get started with the drawing. I'm going to turn my references off too. I just had this up here so you guys could kind of see what I was working with for the inspiration. The color palette for today, the name is Tatami, so like a Japanese tatami mat. So that's kind of like part of the inspiration of why I decided to go with the Japanese themed character. So it's this very chubby, fluffy Tanuki character. Hold on just a second. I'm still seeing... There we go. Okay. And it's just, I had an extra bar at the bottom. I don't think you can see it on screen, but I can see it on my screen and it was bothering me. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. I have a nice crunchy pen to work with today. This is different than the one I used last time. It has just a little less tooth, but still like enough tooth to make it look like it's ink on paper. If this was a normal Tiny Artist TV video, normally I would be filling this time telling you guys about the lore behind Tanuki and Samurai, because he's wearing the samurai armor, and Tengu and Oni and all of that fun stuff. I don't have that information on retainer fresh up here enough to confidently share with you guys, so that's most likely going to be something that I do in the voiceover during the stream recap. So if you're more interested in kind of the lore behind the different elements of this character, you'll have that to look forward to. Again, I don't know if I'll get it done today. I'm hoping to get it done today, but I have, once again, other obligations after I get off of stream. So I'll see how much time I give myself to do the editing, an additional script for that, because I do still have yesterday's stream to edit too. Just really on top of things around here. Good morning. I'm wondering, I have this set to 15. That's fine. I can just be a little lighter handed in the areas that need finer detail, like through here. This part is going to be kind of heavily colored anyway, so that's okay. Get his little nose. Ah, it's too thin. Why did that thin out that much? There we go. Heavy pressure, heavy pressure. I love his teeny tiny little tanuki hands and toes. So tanukis are kind of, they're not mischief spirits. They're actually, if I remember correctly, seen to be as good luck. Especially if you're out in the wild and you come across a tanuki, it's supposed to be good luck. Tanukis have also been heavily featured in a lot of different anime. They pop up in manga from time to time. There's a tanuki merchant in Triple X Holic who kind of helps Wata navigate the spirit realm that he sort of gets. He sort of like slips into it, slips through the veil, and so the tanuki kind of helps him find his way back out. They are usually depicted with a certain enlarged feature that I have decided to not include in this design for family-friendly purposes. But it is kind of just Google Tanuki statues from Japan, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There is a reason for it. Again, if I remember correctly, I think it's tied into the lore of the age and like the status of the tanuki. They've also been featured in Mario. If any of you have played Super Mario Bros. 3, the raccoon tail that you acquire that lets you fly is a tanuki tail. Because, well, it's actually, yeah, it's a tail and ears. Yeah, it's a tanuki. It's not a raccoon. Because in mythology, the tanuki can fly, and the thing that I mentioned earlier helps them do that. They use the skin from this part of their body to help them fly. They are truly just the silliest of creatures. Be doing a lot of this type of heavy coloring and erasing back out to get a nice heavy shadow. Do a little bit of shading on the tassel just to show the volume. And of course I had to pick one of the most difficult types of armor to emulate. Samurai armor is... There are definitely ways to simplify it, and of course in my Google search I happened to pick one of the most difficult types to recreate because why not? But I also thought it was the most like aesthetically pleasing. It has the most surface areas for me to place the colors of my palette onto. But the type of samurai armor that I am portraying is not like the only type, as I'm sure anyone who's familiar with like any sort of Japanese media, Japanese films, those old 70s and 80s samurai movies, there are so many different types of armor, the way they layer the pieces or the ornamentation, the masks, it's everything is, it almost feels like, and I know that like there's a, it depends on like where you're from, who you're fighting for. So I don't want to say there's no one right way to do it, because there is certainly a historically accurate way to do it. But I think it's one of the things that, like, if you get something wrong, unless that person is like a historian, they're probably not going to call you out on it. So I'm going to try to simplify this armor a little bit, just for the sake of the sake of stylization and character design, because I want this to look kind of more like a piece of street art than like a fully accurate illustration. Because I only have 2 hours. Excuse me. 2 hours to get this done. And if I'm going to do that, I can't really hem and haw too much about the details. And this little tanuki fist. This heavier. Even this, I'm going to try to make it as accurate as possible. But because of the way he's holding it, the wrapping is going to be just a little helter-skelter. Okay. Clean that up just a little bit. Yeah, I like that it's kind of like, it's funky. It's not super duper clean, especially because the brush that I'm using also isn't super duper clean, and that's what I want to go for. I want it to have a little bit of like grunge to it. Follow that down. Good grief. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm so froggy today. And of course, it's on the day when I don't have my water on my desk. I've already started the stream. I'm not gonna get up now. So we're just gonna suffer through it together. I think I'll actually just do that with color instead of that being a line. Let's finish up the face. So this mask that he's wearing, in the initial concept, I thought about giving him an Oni mask, but then I started looking into a couple other masks that are prevalent in Japanese culture. So the three that you'll most likely see are Oni, which is a demon, Kitsune, which is the fox spirit, and then Tengu, which is, it is an Oni, but it's also considered something of like a minor deity or a demigod, and they're called the dogs of heaven or celestial dogs. I couldn't find any confirmation of my thinking that they were wind spirits, because in Okami, when you're fighting the Tengu, they use wind attacks, but they're kind of like guard dogs for the spirit realm, if you will. Now, granted, they don't look anything like dogs. As a matter of fact, they are typically shown with like large black wings. They have these like large, their masks are always like red, very angry, heavy brows, big noses, gritted teeth. Some of them have facial hair. Some of them just have like the little markings to intonate like a little bit of a beard. I did give this one a full. It's going to be a white beard because I have this smoke over here, and I wanted the beard element to show the age of the Tanuki, but then also stylistically it balances out where I'm placing the color um, for the whole piece. So both the smoke and the beard are going to be this creamy color down here, because the Tanuki is going to be those alternating shades of gray. And I know right now they look very similar, but I did test them next to each other, and they are different enough that you can, when they're next to each other in large swatches, you can see the difference. So one is a little more orange and one is a little more yellow. So that gives enough difference that I can use them next to each other and, you know, not have any issues with that. But they are very close in terms of tone. And by tone, I mean like how much gray the color actually has. Because they're like pretty much side by side. But like I said, one is yellow and one is orange. So you'll be able to see the difference once I start using the colors to fill things in. Oh, I didn't even set my timer. I'll just use the stream's timer. At 16 minutes, I don't quite know exactly what time I started doing the lines, unfortunately. So I will just give myself 20 more minutes to finish the lines. That seems right. I can say it seems a little heavy, but it reads nice and clean from a distance. I am going to need heavy lines to hold up against the big blocks of color, so that should be okay. If I need to make the line art a little bit thinner, then I will. Just going to color that in. Yep, that's good. Kind of has a carved wood look to it, which these masks typically are made out of some type of wood. I mean, they're mostly made out of plastic now, but a little more texture in the beard there, just to show that it's like really coming out of the beard. Do a little bit of silhouette here too. That's his ear. No? Oh, it's the other string. His ear's behind the mask. Finish this face, or else it's gonna keep being avoided. Alright. Get this ribbon. Just give that a little bit of texture, just to kind of show the continuation, because it's coming down, it's going behind his head and over his shoulder. Of course, once everything is in color, it's going to be a lot easier to see what's what. It's going to go over the pipe. This doesn't need to be creased. There's nothing actively happening to it to make it do that, so we're going to fix that. I'm going to darken this. Maybe do a little here. Go ahead and do the pipe and the smoke. This will just have hand-carved designs in it. I'll worry about that when I get to the color layer. Try to keep this a little bit thin, just to imply translucency. Just gonna kind of loosely follow my guidelines here. Smoke is pretty nebulous, so it doesn't have to be, of course, exact. Although I do often like the shapes, the initial shapes when I'm working on the sketch for smoke. Sometimes it does get a little lost in translation from sketch to line art, but it's not like, it's nothing that I'm going to obsess over. So as long as it's close enough, I actually like doing a little bit of this. Let's see what that looks like with a little more clarity. Yeah, I'm not going to obsess over missing an exact shape when I'm working with smoke, because that's just silly. These will make it a little bit heavier because this is actually clouds in the background. So I want those to have more definition. Yeah, that's good. And then this one here in the background. Once again, just a really good pen. Now, could I do this with a round brush? Of course. Would it take me 5,000 years and then some? More than likely. I'm trying to think what the closest thing. I think the closest thing to doing this in GIMP would end up being a jitter brush on either a square or a brush that already has a shape to it. So when it jitters, it's rotating as you're drawing to create a little bit of that organic crunchiness that this brush is doing. I'm just gonna do just like that. Leave it nice and sketchy. $10 left, I think. Yeah, because it was 16 when I looked and now it's 26, so I've got 10 minutes left. Normally this is where the not station, that's not the word I'm looking for. It's not guild. Platoon? Where your faction, there we go. This is normally where your faction would go. I think I'm just going to, instead of it being the solid plate, I'm going to go with this design here. So I don't want to take stream time to look up kanji real quick. So I'm just going to have that be a solid piece of the traditional red armor. And also these are, if you look back at the reference, so you can see here that you've got the faction here on the shoulder, or I guess the upper arm plate, with more smaller pieces of armor to help deflect blows. But yeah, I'm going to make this the striated armor instead of the solid plate. Little fluff on the arm here. Here's the rest of his arm. It's just a big fluffy potato of an arm. Gonna make that, yeah, that's this part here, so it's kind of bunch that up a little bit. And that's more of this on this side. So that's upper body done. Nice piece. It was thick, thin, thick, thin. This needs to be thinner. No tangents, no tangents. So I'll move this down. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. And I'll just color this in solid with the sort of dark, piney, misty green. So in the armor, it's teal. So I think, yeah, that's another reason why I chose this particular design, is that it had a lot of the colors that I was already working with. Typically, the samurai armor you see is either like all red, or if it's more stylistic or Hollywood, might be all black. But this one had a unique blend of the red, teal, and cream that I already have to work with in my color palette. So that's another reason why I chose this design, was not only did it look cool, but it had what I needed to successfully incorporate a lot of the elements that I'm working with from the colors. And that, hold up, that's not quite right. I need to patch that. There we go. And this needs to swing back up this way. That's better. It's looking pretty cool in my opinion. Okay, so now we've got this, the bottom of this part, which I have it flared up and sitting kind of flat. So you see the bottom part as plates. So it's going kind of like this. Which the texture on that isn't like 100% accurately translated, but it's a tanuki wearing samurai armor. Like, how his torso is going to be a lot shorter. Some elements are going to need to be modified. And then this is the bottom part of the it's not like protection, because this is, they have shin guards effectively. That's going to be this part of the armor. Clean that up just a little bit. And I have like 30 seconds left to finish the line art. Which that's unless I really book it, maybe I can do it. So what do I have left? Just the toes? And the sword. What is this? I know that's not part of the scabbard because the scabbard stops here. Oh, it's the strap. And that's just going to be solid black. I'm just going to kind of color it in roughly so that it's not like actually solid. I need to have a little bit of texture, but I didn't want it to be open because the strap itself is going to be black. So my line art actually isn't even black. It's a really dark, as you can see down here, a really dark red brown, because working with true black, unless you're working with like a stark graphic style, can usually be really heavy. So I found that working with brown just kind of warms up the illustrations and gives them a little more life. So that's actually, I'll either work in a dark brown or a dark blue, depending on what type of character and what kind of environment they're in. Okay, I think the line art is done. I do want to include the lines here. I just gotta although yeah, I like the texture in that. I'm still gonna add the pattern. The lines were just placeholders for the pattern that's gonna end up on they're not pants. It's not quite a skirt either. But they were just placeholders for this teal and cream pattern that's on here. But I think I need another place to add some texture. Because if I just leave it solid, it might be like too plain compared to the rest of the illustration. Like all of this has so much detail, and then down here it's like, well, what happened? Okay, so that is actually done, I'm sure now. I set this to reference. I'm just going to start blocking in color. I'm going to take this off. I think I'm going to move you over a little more central. That's better. And I'm just going to start filling in areas. So the main body of the tanuki is going to be this color. His paws are actually going to need to be black. I need to fill that in. And then around his eyes, oh, because around the eyes is also black. like a really dark brown. I think I'll do a texture treatment around the eyes. Just to make it darker. And then also, it's going to be this section here at the bottom of the face. Yeah, it's kind of under here. Because I wanted him to look kind of like he has a beard. So we're going to do this. Yeah, that's good. That's really cool. So that way you can tell it's supposed to be darker without it being black. And it still has that very like sumi style. Oh, his toes. But I need some space between the toes. There. Oh, no, it's white. It's just from that distance it didn't look like it was filled in properly. Okay, so I'm at 43 minutes in the stream. So I have an hour and 15 minutes to finish this character. Oh, this part also needs to be black. If I do it... Yeah, no, I need to do it on the line layer. Or maybe I should do it on the color layer. So that way I can erase back out around it like this. Yep, that's the move. I'll fix this part in a minute. Chest plate, that's got that teal. So the ribbon, these ribbons are teal. And then these lines are teal, so I'll just paint that in right now. I'm gonna have to go back in and clean it up. Just no big deal. I still have plenty of time. fill in all the gaps first, actually. And then I can just paint the teal over it. So I don't have to worry about any gaps between the teal and the red, because that's going to be annoying. This is like that. And the straps here. I guess I'll have to make the bell beige. I didn't think about that. The tassel's going to be beige anyway, so that'll be fine. Okay. Nope, wrong color, wrong color. Which actually puts this. And this is this. And these are this. So that plaque, this is all black. I'm gonna make that just a little bit lighter. That's one of these. And there should be another one on the shoulder up here. Here and here, but not tangenting with the mask. Very small, because it's going to be red, be easy to see. Which unfortunately the ribbon is also red. I could make it teal because the mask is going to be red. I think that's a better idea. Unless I want to use this. I don't want to use the charcoal. I don't want the colors to overlap too much. So I'll make these ribbons teal. And the smoke is going to be yellow. I'll just go ahead and fill that in. Oh, where's the gap? That should be it. There we go. The clouds in the back. Yeah, those, but they're going to get a different color treatment. They're going to have red from the sun on them to differentiate them from the smoke. So it's going to be handled like this. And it's going to be over here. Okay, and over here. Okay, the pipe is going to be, I guess, this color with red details. Nose needs to be black. Make the eyes black. Or no, I'll leave them white. Makes him look more mysterious, more ancient, and wizened. I think up to this point, I have done a different style in each of these 4 streams that I've done so far. I don't know what to say about that, other than I don't know if that makes me seem directionless or that I just like a wide variety of things. But I also kind of hope it shows that, like, you don't have to stick to one thing. If you like other things, then do other things. Now, does that mean you're going to be good at all of them? Probably not. But if you like something and you're willing to spend time in it, you'll end up at a point where, you know, your passion will show through. That is to say that you'll put the time into the things you enjoy. And if that's one style or 5 different styles, and actually, even though typically when people are hiring artists, they are looking for like a specific notable style, when it comes to hiring in a studio, unless they're looking for that, like, that semi-realistic style, that painterly style that's like just in, it's good to have that flexibility under your belt of being able to, you know, you can translate multiple things for a project, is what I'm saying. It's like, if you can only do one thing, they're only going to give you one thing. But if you can do multiple things, they may ask you to branch out and do multiple things that they think you're capable of. So while it is good and cool to have a notable style, it is also helpful to be able to sort of be a chameleon and be able to do more than one thing well. which I'm pretty sure is also teal. Yes, it is. It is. It is. I needed another place to land that color to break these things up. This sword is gonna be... Oh, actually... So typically the wrapping on the sword would be a color versus the hilt of the sword is usually like a nice glossy polished black. So if I wanted to add color to it, I would need to make the threads the color, and I think I want to make them blue because that black, the black on black is a little hard to read from a distance. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of this. Do I like the way that looks? Just the pure black threads looked a lot cleaner though. Maybe what I'll do, I'll just add a little bit of gloss underneath of here so you can see it better. Oh, I remember what else I wanted to do. I don't like the way this looks. I wanted to add some kind of foresty greenery around him. Kind of like he's sitting in the middle of the forest. Like you're stumbling around and you happen upon this ancient creature. I think unfortunately in my head he kind of sounds like Sir Laura from Divinity, who's an adorable character. even if at times annoying. But Solor is a squirrel. I don't know, I guess you can headcanon your own voice onto this character if you feel so compelled. Maybe do this. Yeah, that's a little bit faster to do it that way, but I think I'll just go back to hand painting. I still have an hour to just kind of clean things up, make them nice and sharp. As far as I can tell, oh, everything except for the scabbard is colored, and that's just going to be this color, and the lip is going to be gold. Sounds like I need to change my pen nib. It has been a while. Yeah, this is not going to be quite a 1-to-1. I think that's going to be okay. I don't know if it's the tolerance or the area scaling that's creating those gaps. It's probably the area scaling. Or maybe a bit of both, but I have my tolerance set back to 10, which is usually enough. Maybe I need to bump it up to 25. And don't worry, I'm not trying to imitate kanji off the top of my head. That is not a library that I keep fully stocked. While I do know some basic kanji, it's been years since I've actually formally studied Japanese, and I am very rusty. Mushisabi. So I'm just kind of doing some Yamoyan, which is a language I created for my D&D elves. Yeah, just give it a little something, a little extra texture in there. Okay, so now we've got the teal striping here, which, yeah, it goes all the way up. Is it teal and black? Oh, they're dots. Okay. And they differentiate. They're small and then large. Yeah, okay. I can work with that. But it is this on the bottom. got, is it big or little first? It's little on the top, big on the bottom. So we'll do this. I'll do it every other section. Okay, armor is done. So now what I need to do is focus on getting these shapes, getting some more highlights and shadows. And I still have 45 minutes. Okay, so the the Tengu face. I'm gonna use this for shadow under the beard. And that's like perfect. It's that dark yellow. It wouldn't make sense to put a shadow on the sun, but I think stylistically it looked kind of cool. So let's just see what that looks like. Yeah, I like that. I knew I was going to. Sometimes I make a choice knowing that it's going to work out because it's something I've done before. Oftentimes, I am kind of playing around and seeing what works, trying to build up my stylistic vocabulary, if you will. Yeah, this is looking really good. I think getting these shadows in here is helping the mask look more wooden by keeping the shadows more angled, like it's been carved or chiseled. Need a little bit of definition in the Tanuki's face. We're gonna make the beard that darker gray. I'm gonna have to do this by hand because it's all solidly colored in and there's too many gaps in the lines. I might not even do this like proper. I might just kind of blend those two colors together. Yeah, so you can see that there's a little bit of light and dark in between. There we go. Hmm. I need a shadow under the eye. Sure that it's 3D. There we go. I do need this part to be in shadow. And a little bit of red from the sunlight. Or maybe it's a little bit blurred. No, it's sunlight. I don't know why I said that. I'm gonna do that. I need to make sure that it's clean. Yeah, I don't like that. That's not bad. That's gonna stay. Whoops, whoops, whoops. One back too far, too far. Nope. Here though. I've got 40 minutes left. I like this. I like being able to just be comfortable and make decisions instead of feeling rushed. Huh. Let me go ahead and put these mushrooms in. And then actually, what does this look like? Needs to be a little bit heavier. It's fine. Maybe it doesn't need mushrooms. Maybe just the grass is enough. Just the implication of a setting. Because I think the mushrooms... I mean, I won't know unless I draw, but I have a feeling that if I do that, it's gonna take away from... Like, it's gonna be another character, and I don't need another character. It just needs to be this. Was there anything else I was going to do with this, though? Maybe just adding a little bit of definition to the smoke. Yeah, just doing a little bit of this. Does make it look slightly less 2D, but I think if I steady my hand enough, it will push it into 3D. It'll still kind of look like a paper texture. Maybe this is the only side I need it on because that's the furthest away from the sun, so that's where the shadow of the smoke would be. That's where it would be thickest. So I'm going to leave that alone. I need to clean up this area. I know that for a fact. Because this is still a little crunchy, a little messy. I guess the best way to add shadow to the bell is to just do this. And then I can do that to the tassels too, just to give it a little more body. Yeah, that's good. Here. Since I'm trying to refrain from using any additional black or white, except for what I've used for the line art, because this is a lighter version of what I have here. So I'm counting that as part of the palette, I suppose. I guess maybe I can just make this dark in here, and then add a little bit of hatching to the underside. Just clean that up this way. Get out the line art pen. Get that paper texture. Cut back into that a little bit. Maybe if I go all the way across. No, that's too... it's messy. How am I gonna clean it up? Maybe I just make this all black. And then just do a little... just a little bit evenly spaced. I still don't like that. It looks too thick. So I think I'm actually going to leave that alone, because you can tell that it's in shadow. Yeah, it looks a lot cleaner that way. Now I'm not using too many extra colors that aren't in my palette, because I want these to be kind of the star of the show, which I feel that they are, since the Tanuki is taking up so much space in the palette, or in the canvas. And then of course the armor's red and the mask is red. Got all the highlights in this sort of cream color. And then the teal accents just breaking up all of that red. I'll take another look at this to see if there's anything else I can add or that I missed, but I think we're done for today at an hour and a half. So maybe I could have done the sketch on camera. But there was definitely there was a lot of stalling on my part as far as decision making, and I didn't want to just be stalling on camera. But I think the sketch did take about, let's say, maybe 20 to 30 minutes. Yeah, but that is all for today. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, or if you're watching the VOD, the VOD, I'll see you in the VOD or in the next video, whatever. Have a weird day. If I could get the stream to